I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, fam, what is up? We are back. Another episode of the Weekly Roundup live here on the A2D Radio every 8 to 10. Back again, as usual. My man to my right, Mr. Zach Burr. How we feeling this afternoon, Zach? Are you feeling good, brother?
Dude, I am my normal, goofy self. It is phenomenal.
Absolutely. We already got our first guest of the evening, you know, right down to my bottom, Mr. Christopher Franklin. He's a beat reporter for our Philadelphia Sixers, our Philadelphia Eagles for NewJersey.com. Chris, how you feeling tonight?
Not bad at all, man. Looking forward to talking to you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. Looking forward to talking some sports, man. It's a beautiful night for it.
Yeah, it is a lot to talk about, a lot to unload. You know, NFL. You know, just in the sports world in general, it's been a week. So you know, little rough, little rough. But real quick, I want to get our sponsor read at the way. You know, and every episode here on the Weekly Roundup is brought to you by eXp Realty. And if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you're looking for a career changer brokerage, contact our guy Alan Foy over at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-6820, or visit him at Alan Foy at exprealty.com. And you know, what did I miss there, Mr. Burr?
No, he was coaching his you know. How about this guy, right? Yeah, one of the top real estate agents in the South Jersey area. He's also, I went to high school with him, played on the basketball team there, played college basketball, and now he's a high school basketball coach at Bordentown, Bordentown Regional High School, to go along with all of the stuff he does with real estate. And they're in a basketball tournament today at Cherokee High School in South Jersey there in the Cherry Hill area today and tomorrow. So, yeah, he's got a lot of stuff going on, and, you know, shout out to him for all the stuff he tries to do. He helps a lot of people. Obviously, the real estate thing, you know, that's enough. But you know, when you're coaching high school sports, you know, you're impacting young kids' lives in ways that are more important than you know, you could ever imagine. So he's got a lot of things that he does where it's like, you know, really good dude and one of the best guys to try to you know do business with. And I've known him a long time. So you're trying to buy a house or anything like that. Sell a house even. You want to change careers like Steven said and get into real estate in any way. He's the first guy you're going to hit up. They're changing the industry at eXp Realty.
Yeah, appreciate Alan. He's trying to help me, you know, get rid of my mom's house right now. So he hooked me up with one of the brokers in the area. So appreciate Alan. That definitely, all he's trying to help us with. But you know, again, let's switch gears here. Let's get into this poll question. Start talking to some sports real fast. And our poll tonight is brought to you by Manscaped. Use that code A2D for 20% off free shipping with that code. Head over to manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence. Always using those right tools for the job with Manscaped. Like I said, guys, if you're using them codes, send me your screenshots. I got this awesome giveaway I'm going to get ready to hook you guys up with. LeGarrette Blount signed jersey. I got a few things I've gotten over the past few days. But as far as that tonight's poll question, let me get your thoughts on this one, Chris. Playing 3 games in 13 days, will that put our Philadelphia Eagles at a disadvantage for the rest of the season? Family, agree to disagree? Let's hear the thoughts in the chat. Chris, what do you think, my friend?
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, especially we're going into the divisions part of your schedule right now. I mean, Washington's a physical team. They like to run the ball. They like to play good defense. So you're going to be beat up with that. And then you have to come back 4 or 5 days later. Most times players aren't fully from themselves again until about Friday afternoon, Saturday. Well, now you don't have luxury now because you go right back into a Giants game. And then, you got to go back down to Washington later and want to play again their place. So it definitely puts them at a disadvantage. I'm kind of surprised that the league pushed it to Tuesday. I thought at the very latest they pushed it to a Monday maybe. In my opinion, they shouldn't have pushed it at all. I think the Eagles did what they were supposed to do, but it's definitely puts them in a very, very big disadvantage thing into a playoff run.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling you. Like me and Zach were one of these guys who were just kind of teetering on the edge, coming into the seat. Like, are they a playoff team? They might be just outside of it. It all. I really said at the beginning of the year, it really depends if they could get through that first half and like 3/4 of the season with more than 4 wins. They had more than a chance if they could take care of business on the back end with some winnable games, not really having to fly too much towards the end. But then you throw this monkey wrench into the whole thing. Obviously, COVID, is doing some things. Having a bad loss to the Giants a few weeks ago, puts you in a bad position as well. As far as I absolutely, they're at a disadvantage in this. There's not really precedent for it, so it's like we're basically pounding on a cement wall, so to speak, right now. Like we don't have anything where we can say, hey, this should be done this way, X, Y, and Z. Whatever they signed prior to the season kind of gave the NFL rights to kind of be able to postpone games and move them. Is my guess with it is how we got to this point. I think the problem is that you've already made teams kind of compete with lessened rosters, with serious, more than a handful of COVID cases, potential COVID cases, etc. You literally last year made Denver trot out a freaking wide receiver for a quarterback. It's one of these things like you can't pick and choose when you want to do it, and then granted. The Washington Redskins put themselves in a particular situation. All right, go ahead, Zach. I know you want to hop in here. Go ahead, brother.
One, I'll say I disagree with the whole there's not a precedent. I mean, you look at all the other sports, NHL, NBA, there's plenty of a precedent for this as far as what they've done to try to handle it, delay games, postpone games, all that. On top of that, last year, whatever happened last year, they were just kind of going like week by week, day by day, figuring everything out. That's why they put all these things in place this offseason. So I don't really want to take what they did last year. I think they tried to learn from things last year to put things in place this year. I understand what you're saying about, they said in the offseason things like this happen, teams will forfeit. Here's where I think things have changed. They weren't taking into account the idea that, we'd have a variant, of COVID or COVID, the idea of COVID, peaking and raising levels around the country, raising, in a way that they have again, where it seems like, I live down here in Florida, one of the freest states when it comes, we don't have mask mandates, things like that. And we've still got high schools and stuff like that in the area that are, leading up to this have, had to cancel different sporting events and stuff like that because of just how crazy things have gotten. So I think maybe the NFL's a little bit like, hey, this has kind of gotten crazy and it's the levels, everything's kind of gotten out of control again the way it did at one point last year. And we've kind of got to, react on the fly and not really stand by what we did in the offseason, because if we do, a lot of people are going to be affected by it. So we've got to come up with a new policy. And therefore, they're just reacting to what they have to do now because of how bad things have gotten. And, whether we disagree or agree with it or not, I get it. None of us enjoyed watching the Steelers and the Lions play a few weeks ago when there was a bunch of people out from COVID protocols and they played to a tie in overtime. You know what I mean? Things like that. Nobody enjoyed watching a wide receiver play quarterback for the Broncos last year, as you brought up, Steven, right? So I think they're trying to do what's best for business right now and say, okay, we're allowed to adjust things on the fly, just because that's, we're the NFL. And I agree with what our boss said earlier, where if there was anybody that thought they were, they said they were going to do this in the offseason. Okay, well, did you really believe they weren't going to change their mind or at least be able to say, hey, fuck what we said in the offseason, this is what we're doing now? They're the NFL. They can do what the hell they want. Roger Goodell's proven that for a long time. We were being a little naive by thinking anything they said in the offseason was 100% going to be a stone cold fact by this point in the season. That's just the way it goes.
I think the biggest thing, especially when you look at when you saw the outpouring that a lot of players had, they seemed like they were really frustrated, especially because they felt like they were abiding by all the rules, all the guidelines that they were having. The one thing I think the biggest difference you see is the Eagles, they had 2 players go on the COVID list early this week. Wide receiver was Watkins and Jason Huntley, but you never saw a spread. You actually saw the team be even more proactive. They were using the indoor facility they had to hold their meetings, space things out. You saw masks being used. We usually had to wear a mask ourselves now, around the players, stuff like that. You saw extra precautions being taken in that. And I think a lot of players felt frustrated they had to move it. And they know that especially when it comes to their recovery, that's important. And when you have like Rodney McLeod, who is the Eagles NFLPA guy, comes out and vocally comes out saying it wasn't right. When you have Darius Slay saying it should have been a forfeit, I think you're starting to see them trying to get their voice and use it a little bit more with that. I think there's a lot of frustration. I think that everybody, if I'm the Browns, I forget his name, but he's the Browns. He's the head of the NFLPA, but he's the Browns who's on the COVID list. He's. I would not want to be in one of those meetings in the next couple of weeks when they get all the players talking about, because when it comes time to vote, I'm pretty sure this is going to be brought up again.
Are you quiet here?
Yeah, I think we're having a little bit of connection issues. I mean, I understand all that. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate because obviously that's what I do best, right, Stephen? I'm the guy that disagrees and gets people riled up and, tries to sit here and create the debate that, makes good radio. That's what we do here. But I get the argument both ways. I'm just saying, I think when we all know we're dealing with $1 billion industry here that, at the end of the day, they don't play by the same rules that everybody else does. And as unfair as things might seem, or the way that we seem like it, it should be this way. If the shoe was on the other foot and the Eagles are going through a bunch of different things, even though they feel like they followed whatever protocols they're supposed to follow, and we've got 20 guys on the COVID list, and we're like so snake bitten, with injuries that we're pulling guys off the street to play. Is the reaction the same? I mean, obviously Darius Slay and other guys, around the league, their reactions based off of the position that they're in, feeling like, hey, we would have had the advantage, and you guys said this was going to be a forfeit in the offseason, but if the shoe's on the other foot, they're obviously not going to be saying the same thing. They're going to be like, hey, we need to get, if they're in Baker Mayfield's shoes, they're going to be saying the same thing he is. We need to, find a way to delay this and move it a couple of days or yada, yada. That's just, I think both sides are playing a little bit of politics there because that's what you're supposed to do here. You're trying to fight for your team or whatever.
Now, I mean, I think Tom brought up a good point. I think moving forward, don't you think, to kind of alleviate some of the stuff that where it's not punishing the Eagles, that they're flexed into like some type of Monday night type of scenario for the remaining two, at least the next two moving forward, so it's not like such a stress, and they get at least another day of rest.
It would be nice to, but from the reports I saw, I believe it was Tom Pell, the NFL is wholeheartedly staying steadfast. And the only time I possibly see a game potentially being flexed would be the final game against Dallas if the Eagles were in a position to potentially clinch and because of the rivalry and everything else. But they're wholeheartedly saying, you know what, nope, play the schedule. This is what we're going to do right here and now. The other one would be the potentially, if they did this, it would be rough. Would be against the Giants. Will be the second game against Washington, and that is Saturday night. That would just be bonkers because they're looking to have two games with playoff implications again. So I think they're going to keep them on that Sunday. But yeah, they're basically going to say, hey guys, you're going to go out there and play the schedule, and you'll like it.
Why can't they move future games? Like if they move this Saturday's game or this Sunday's game to a Tuesday, why can't they move next Sunday's game to a Tuesday and then the following Sunday's game? They can do that if they want to. I mean, they absolutely can. How about this? They move the Eagles game to a Tuesday night, where at the same time that there's an Eagles game in Washington, there's also going to be a Flyers Capitals game, and the shit's fucking crazy, right? Like you're talking about the traffic that's going to go into that. It was really poorly planned, and they still made it happen. So if they can do it then, they can adjust shit on the fly if they need to, instead of teams playing on a Sunday in a playoff, a game that has a playoff atmosphere or playoff implications. They can move another game a couple days, just like they did this week. I don't believe for the life of me they couldn't do that if they really had to.
What do you think about Matt's one here? There's plenty of NFL talent sitting home. They knew that they were gonna be fucked by Monday or Tuesday with COVID. Should have signed an entire practice squad, brought free agents for a game. So
where's
Matt,
Shane Falco?
We definitely hear you on this one. That we're kind of beating the drum post fact. Like this is kind of where they were heading, and this is what they didn't. The product they didn't want to put on the field. So this is how we wound up with the postponed game. And here we are.
Show no matter how you spin it, right, Stephen?
And basically, the Eagles got the short end of the stick for doing everything they were supposed to, and just watching another team just do whatever they want, and with no repercussions for it. That's the problem with this. I think that's the thing that upsets the players the most, that, yeah, I'm getting the short end of the stick, but we're not getting anything in return on the back end, nothing. So it's like they're upset with the players union. The players are upset. So I would say it should produce for an interesting game come Tuesday night, don't you think?
It's going to be crazy, because now I just want to go back to a Washington Philadelphia game where, it's just like, hey, there's football. I mean, with last year's the drama of, oh wow, they pulled the Jalen Hurts at the end of the game and Nate Sudfeld into this one. Now it's just going to be craziness, and everybody brings up the Joe Webb game from a few years ago when the Vikings beat the Eagles and everything, but I think there's going to be a little added nastiness, a little bit to it when it comes to the Eagles end, and it's crazy enough it's a division game, so I think it's going to be fun to watch. It's definitely going to be fun to watch.
Now, here's the
Is
other.
Jalen playing tomorrow? Have you heard if Jalen's playing tomorrow?
I heard he's a full participant, but I heard that both Gardner Minshew and Jalen took first team snaps. That's what I heard.
He was a full participant in that walkthrough.
Have you got confirmation who's starting?
Not yet. No, we're still waiting officially on that one too. I'll tell you how you play that right now. It's going to be a game time decision. They're going to have Hurts on the field beforehand, and then probably about the 11:30, we'll see the inactives, and then next thing you know, hey, if he's not on there, I think he's starting. I think it's going to be one of those things. But I look at when we were looking at him in practice earlier this week, he was doing a lot of drops, wasn't moving too much laterally, but doing 3 drops, placing that from the point, especially when it comes to that. So he was doing that a little bit more than what he was doing the previous week. I mean, the previous week we were watching him during even the stretching periods, and they wouldn't even allow him to do that, but he was moving around a little bit more, and to see him trending where he was a full participant, he went from a limited to a full participant for the last 2 practices. It's trending in a way where I probably say 55-45, because I'm not a betting man, because I'll be poor if it was the case, but I put 55-45 that Hurts would start.
This is the betting degenerate over here.
If
there's a profit on it, he probably would bet on it, I promise.
I'm putting it -110 on Hurts. That's about it. On that
Oh man! Now, what are your thoughts on that one, Chris? Like, you think it's a little premature for some of these fans to kind of be calling for Gardner? Should we give Hurts the rest of the season? There's already fans that are saying he deserves next season as well. Are you sold on Jalen? Is he your guy? Or do you feel there could be greener grass elsewhere with other moves and potential, talent they have coming in with the capital they have?
I think that he's your guy going into 2022, because, and I'll start preface this by this. I mean, I used to be a big Coy Detmer fan back when McNabb was around that time. And I think everybody in this city is I mean, from the whip to the neck beard to the playbook and toothbrush. All those guys, and you come. I mean, the city does have infatuation with the backup quarterback. It's true.
We have a disease. We have a disease. It's a disease.
We need to see AJ. And when you just look at the overall options that are going to be available, personally, I think Russell Wilson goes to the Giants next year. I just think he wants to have a little bit more input when it comes to personnel, and the Giants.
It's not just that. I also, I think Zach was talking about it too. Like, he wants to be in one of those big hubs.
We had him.
And being in New York is just kind of another precedent, with who his wife is, what he's trying to do off the field when he gets done with his career. I think New York makes sense.
Yeah, so I think he goes there. I think Deshaun Watson, that's a whole wild card and a mess. That has a whole other show on that one too. But if he is clear, nothing happens, I think he goes to Miami. So I think all the other options for Aaron Rodgers, I think he's going to West Coast. I don't think he's even coming to Philly. So all those options are done. This draft.
Derek Carr.
I think it's Derek Carr is your only option. I promise you.
Oh no, I wouldn't give all those assets away from Derek Carr. I think there's too.
I'm not giving any first.
Jalen Hurts in a first-round pick.
Nah, I'm not touching that.
I'm not giving up a first for him. We don't have to give up one for him. I promise you.
Yeah, you don't think Derek Carr is gettable? You don't have to give up the farm for him. You don't have to give up everything for him.
That's a guy I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole right now, especially in this offense. I think basically all the options that they're looking out there now. Watch, there's going to be somebody that nobody's even talking about. There could be discussions about, as that's always possible. But just looking at overall, unless you can get a guy who you can fit into your salary cap, you get players around him that can fit the type style of offense that you want to be in. Overall, I just don't see those guys, and definitely not in the draft this year. If you put Jalen Hurts against, I think Kenny Pickett, if you put him against,
I agree.
Malik
I don't
Willis,
think there's anyone in the draft I would want to move forward with this franchise. This is where I'm center saying you're in this spot where if you really look around, like you have a team that has a winnable formula. You have a great offensive line. You have something that works with Jalen. He has something special, regardless of how much I hammer him about X, Y, and Z. He can't make this throw. He's not making this throw. He's not progressing. He's not doing this. He still is a more than above average quarterback right now. You would just really like for him to clean some of these other things up. What I thought was really made him special in October and most of November was his ability to not make mistakes. Take away the Giants game, I think he showed you that. Now that being said, he still needs to do a little bit better with some of these elite level throws that a quarterback is supposed to make. Other than that, like I just think you have a good formula moving forward. Just I mean, when you look at the landscape, you don't want to give up too much for this. Why not ride it out another year?
He seems to be more comfortable. He's getting more comfortable. He's nowhere near like top 5, 7 guys at this point yet, but he's gotten a lot more comfortable playing in the pocket. He's throwing the ball. He's I just think it's decisions a little quicker, and that comes with experience. So he continues to get more reps on the field. Once he's more experienced, see more of these defenses in live games, not like in practice situations. I think come time, and I think his patient will get better. You start seeing some of the throws get a little better, accuracy as well too.
Now, go ahead, Zach.
Steven, I mean, the big thing I disagree with there is the idea that like he's gotten better or improved with this idea of going through progressions, making throws on timing routes and being on time with his throws or on time with his decisions on where he's going to go with the football. Those are things I haven't seen any progression with in what was 15 games last year, 4 starts, and then 12 starts this year. How much more time do we have to say, that's going to come with experience? How much more experience? How much more time do I have to sit here and watch the guy struggle to be on time with the ball as a guy's running a timing route before we say, it's not the guy? Now,
you there?
I'm not surprised. We were having some connection issues. Hopefully he's back here because I want his answer for you. But that's my thing with not going into next year with him is I feel like I've seen enough. I know like if he hasn't gotten it by this point and hasn't figured it out by this point on how to make those throws, he's never going to.
You guys can hear me now? Sorry, it's going.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, cool. I think when you look at that, when you look at what he did, especially in that Kansas City game, San Francisco game, week 2, where he was they were throwing a lot and he looked skittish. It was like one read and go. Then what you look at what he did more recently in the later, especially like his Saints and everything else, I think you see a big improvement there, and he's going through his progressions, he's going through his reads. So that's why I definitely think you see some things a lot better when it comes to there, and that's why I definitely see a lot of improvement. Is he one of the top 5 quarterbacks? No. Is he top 10 right now? No. But I think he has a potential to be a 12 to 15. I think that's all you need right now is if you just get some pieces around him. If you get like a 12 to 15 guy who is very affordable right now because of his rookie deal, and you use these assets to start building around him, possibly get another wide receiver, not in the first 3 draft picks, but a veteran guy that comes in here, you trade like day 2, day 3, you get a guy to come in here and start possibly another running back or something like that, and then get another right guard. I think you're good to go, and you have something cooking there behind that offensive line.
Steven, one more point, Steven.
God.
One more point, because I want to know if Chris saw the video from a couple weeks ago in the Giants game where they were taking the safety and playing the help safety to DeVonta Smith's side of the field pretty much 90% of the snaps that day, and Quez Watkins was one-on-one down the field most of the day, and Jalen Hurts at no point exploited that matchup or tried to go, down the field to Quez Watkins, even though there was no, safety help over the top. Those are the types of things that concern me. That should be easy stuff where a quarterback sees that at the line of scrimmage and goes, there's no safety help there. I'm going to Quez Watkins down the field.
And then I also see the other ones where you see where Quez Watkins, there's other plays, especially like in that game as well too, where you had Smith going across the middle. You saw well, he was covered up. You had Goddard going across the middle. He's covered up, and nobody was breaking open. But because of his ability to use his legs, he was able to buy some time as well too to go ahead and dump it off to I believe it was Smith or Goddard around in the middle of the field. Probably Smith around the field for about a good 12-yard gain as well too. So not saying that he's there's no way he's playing perfect games so far this year. He's not, his rating's not been 158.3 or anything, but he has improved to the point where you start to see him and his talents have been able to show that, hey, he warrants being back here for 2022.
Okay. Now, I know we're already lopping up on most of your time, but I did want to sneak some Sixers talk in here. Obviously, a lot of fans, regardless of the Ben Simmons situation, had a lot of high expectations for this team. They're barely scratching above 500, if not right at it right now. Do you feel the Ben Simmons being moved is the only thing that's going to save this team from the fans' expectations at this point in time?
It's the only thing, and I don't know if it's going to be a big because I think they're going to wait till the offseason to try to get what they want. And unless Bradley Beal comes up and says, I'm done watching reality, I want to go to forward. This we go through this all over again.
I feel you where I think that the Bradley Beal thing is probably be the saving grace of this season. If he's definitely out on them, the only other ways I think is if you get the right package with a couple teams is the only way you get that to happen this season. But I've already think they've seen what they're going to be offered with that, and they're not hearing it. They're not hearing it. They're not either getting the quality back in as far as picks or even the players. It's just not the right amount. Zach, I know you got something to say on this.
No, I mean, at this point, you've got to do something that helps your team get better. Because right now you're not good enough to win a championship. You're kind of just in that point where you're like, yeah, we're going to be a playoff team, but we're not really much more than that. So if Ben Simmons isn't going to be a part of playing this year to help make you better, you got to do something to try to make yourself better, whatever it is, whether it's getting a guy that can play from the perimeter and shoot a three. I mean, look at the Lakers and you see how, how valuable, a guy like the undrafted free agent Austin Reeves is, that kid from Oklahoma. Yeah, he's the only guy they really have on their roster that can shoot from the perimeter and really, when they space out the floor, give them that. Russell Westbrook's the guy that, is ball heavy and gets to the rack. LeBron gets to the rack. He's ball heavy. AD does his thing, right? But like Reeves is the guy that can shoot from the perimeter. We don't, Seth Curry's the only guy that does that. You need something. Matisse Thybulle plays defense for me. I don't need Ben Simmons defense at this point because Matisse Thybulle gives me that. I need somebody that can at some point have the ball in his hand and create offense, whether it's scoring, facilitating, whatever it is. I need somebody that can do that outside of Tyrese Maxey because he's really the only guy I have that can do it. So I don't care who the guy is. If I can just go out and get a guy like that in a Ben Simmons trade with a couple of second-round picks or a late first, I might be happy. I'm not going to be greedy at this point.
And it will definitely help. I think it'll definitely help the chemistry as well too at this point because I think the team's getting closer, but it's one of those things where they just need a shot in the arm because they just look like you got these guys playing a lot of minutes, and they look lackluster. The bench, to me, I think they still need another scorer on that bench as well too, and maybe you can get that if you get a second or third team in there. But right now, this team needs to do something because they're looking like a team that they're not even getting in my opinion, right now. I don't think they get out the first round unless they do something drastic in order to change things up.
Yeah,
Would you trade straight up to Sacramento for like Buddy Hield? Would that be like is that something you'd be interested in?
Not straight up. still think Simmons has more value. Now the whole thing of we want 4 first-round picks and 4 pick swaps, yeah, they should not. No. I like Hield a lot. Not like straight up, I really truly like Hield a lot. But I probably think I need a couple other pieces in there, like probably maybe even if they got 2 first-round picks, or maybe if I don't know, they're not giving up Halliburton, which I would love to see him in Philadelphia.
Who's the kid on their bench that hasn't played a ton? That's kind of in the same position Simmons is.
Not Tyrese Halliburton. Drawing a blank. I haven't watched
He was
a lot.
like the 3rd overall pick a couple years back.
Yeah, he was really good. He's just done something now where he's gonna. They basically say, okay, yeah, you're relegated to there. He's like the 7th or 8th guy. I forget. I'm drawing a major blank. That or SGA out of the Thunder. I would love to see the Sixers get him too. But other than that, yeah, I forget the guy's name.
Nice.
So if only, goodness, that lineup, that would be sick. It would be sick to see the Sixers with that lineup.
That's almost best case scenario to get him, right?
Listen, if you can get Ben out of here without losing Maxey or Matisse, I think you're all right. Like if you can get Tobias out of here, Ben out of here, and Danny Green out of here, get yourself a pick.
You're getting Tobias out of here.
And why can't the Oklahoma City Thunder be used as well too? They're basically like the league's money laundering team now anyway, so they have to be part of it. They can get facilitate something done. So when they get involved with it, it's not the back for it.
All right, Chris. I know you said 30 minutes. We're right around that time. What we typically do as we end these interviews, kind of throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone like to thank? Shoot out your media stuff. Let the people know where to find your articles, your work, things of that nature, and your socials.
Well, first of all, I want to thank. It was fun as well too. It was a lot of fun, and thank you very much for having me on. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Steve Franklin News. All the work me and my partner Mike Cady on NJ.com. If you go to NJ.com/E as well too, and kill this as well too. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, because they'll probably go ahead and just say, "Hey, what you didn't do it." What the heck? Thank you guys too.
All right, Chris. Appreciate the time, my friend. We'll definitely have to do it again sometime. Keep doing your thing. We'll definitely link up here again some more and talk some more sports in the future.
Sounds good. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Have a good drink.
All right, you too. All right. And without any further ado, already being joined by our next guest, he really needs no introduction. The big guy himself, Mr. LeVar Johnson. LeVar, how we doing this afternoon, my friend?
Well, I'm doing great, brother. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. We still hemming and hawing over these birds, over the stuff that's going on with COVID. They're messing around with us. A lot of people feel if this was another team, we would be playing Sunday. But it is who it is, and we're getting thrown around. What do you think, LeVar?
I don't know, man. I'm so frustrated with this at this point with the season that I just want to hurry up and be over with.
Well, we just had Chris Franklin on. He's one of our beat reporters. He's sold on Mr. Jalen Hurts for another season. There's not a better option out there. You're gonna have to give up too much to get somebody else who's comparable or better. There's no one in the draft he really likes. Are you in that ssame boat? Do you feel Jalen Hurts should get past the season?
No. I like Jalen Hurts, man. I think he stepped his game up a lot. From beginning of the season, our offensive line has been shifted around. Everybody's been hurt back and forth, and I just think he needed some protection. He needs to, the experience, and I think he's coming along. I think he'll be all right. He's got the receivers,
He's got a receiver. Listen, if we could go back in time and redo the draft from 2 years ago when we grabbed Jalen Hurts, I would be a happy man at this point in time because he's not even a gadget. He's not even a gadget at this point in time. Is he not? He's like he can't return kicks. He, his kick for, he's letting balls get through his hand. Jalen, he doesn't have the receivers, that's for sure. Jalen Watkins is a guy who could be developed into a good 3, but you don't have the 2 yet. You do have the tight end. That offensive line needs to get a little bit more love. They were ranked 13th coming in the season. I think they're a top 5 offensive line right now. What you got with Jordan Mailata and them boys, Lane Johnson. Kelsey and them guys. Keep running this ball. Next year you get a couple more pieces on defense, on offense. This team could make a run.
Yeah, and I also agree with we're able to run the ball and everything like that, but they need to get rid of that little dude, Boston Scott. I am tired of these little ass running backs. We need a LeGarrette Blount.
So you're a big guy. You like the birds.
Yeah, give the big guy the ball, let him run.
So I guess you're a fan of the guy we got back there, Jordan. Howard? I was about to say Matthew. His name Matthew. It's Jordan Howard.
Yeah, Jordan Howard.
He's our hammer. When he goes in there, he changes that pace of the game. Like, I love Miles Sanders, but that offensive line plays differently when you put Jordan Howard in there.
I love the Ajayi Blunt.
That's funny. I got the Super Bowl jersey right here. We're going to be giving away to some of our listeners in next week or so. We're closing in on 7,000 subscribers. We're going to hook the fam up with that. But yeah, LeGarrette Blount was another one of my Jai. If that guy was able to keep his knees, if he was able to keep his knees together, he may have actually played more than 5 seasons.
Yeah. I just don't understand why we had success with Blount. We let him go, but it is what it is. We'll find another big guy.
It's all about the money, man. Yeah. It's all about you can find a guy that does the same work cheaper.
Yeah, I just don't want to have to wait 28 more years.
Oh man, I'm with you.
They're actually playing a stat right now. They're playing a stat right now in the football game with the Colts and the Patriots and the Eagles. They're saying most rush touchdowns this season by the team, and the Eagles are 4th most. They've got 19 rush touchdowns or 18 rush touchdowns this year as a team, 4th most in the NFL. So it's kind of
pound the rock, baby, pound the rock. That's what this team's identity is right now. Pound the rock and pick and choose your spots to go down the field.
Yeah.
Play good defense too. Create turnovers.
Yeah, defense is all right. I just like so many drop passes this last game. We had several chances to win, and it's just.
I already said it because of what's happening moving forward. Losing that game hurts more now because you're what we're just talking about. Our poll question for this answer. And I want to get your thoughts on it too, LeVar. Does playing 13 games in 3 days put the Eagles at a disadvantage for the rest of the season? Do you agree?
Playing what, 13 days?
We're playing 3 games in 13 days. Puts us in a disadvantage for the rest of the season.
We'll probably be beat up a little bit, but I think we'll be all right.
That guy, we had the bye week, right?
So yeah, I think we'll be all right. I mean, we're all playing division. We're playing the rest of the games or division games, So we'll see what happens.
We also don't know what's going to happen the rest of the year, right? Other teams could have games delayed going forward, just like we have this year. Or just like we have this week, and you could get to the next couple of weeks and other teams get games pushed back and everything evens itself out. I don't want to overreact too much right now.
Now you actually come from a football background before you got into MMA, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I played high school balls, outside linebacker, tight end, outside linebacker / strong safety. I was a little smaller back then. Probably like 6'4", 240, 235.
So who guys you would imitate growing up? Who was your idols playing those positions?
Oh man, Lawrence Taylor. Who else? Derek Thomas.
DT, that's the man right there.
Yeah, and then
that's the man right there.
Ray Lewis too.
Ray was special.
Jeremiah Trotter.
Hey, I love the Axeman, man. Was lucky to meet him at a few times, events here in Philadelphia. I absolutely love Jeremiah Trotter. You feel with one of those 3 picks they get next year, they got to address that middle linebacker position, and they
need to do something. I'm tired of these guys trying to tackle the ball carrier after he gets 5 yards. Down the field. This is crazy.
Everyone was ragging on me here. I love the Davion Taylor pick. Before the injury, he was looking like a guy who could play sideline to sideline. If you take Alex Singleton off the field and you give me another outside linebacker with TJ Edwards, that's a good linebacker core.
Yeah, I like Edwards too. I like Edwards. He's out there making it happen.
He can't cover nobody though. He couldn't cover you. You could run a sideline route or a crossing route. He couldn't cover you.
You're supposed to be going in there, getting in the offensive line, making mismatches for your defensive line. 9 times out of 10, he's not supposed to be covering somebody.
Yeah.
Well, but he is.
Yeah, we got a little ways to go, but at the end of the day, I think the team's still young. We got a little bit of time, a year or two. I think we'll be pretty good contenders.
I hope so. You know, it really determines if we really did get the Jalen Hurts thing right when we moved on from Carson and things of that nature. If you got it wrong, it could be this fan base will devour that front office whole. Yeah. If you got it wrong.
Yeah.
I've got a legitimate question. What's more painful, getting punched in the face in an MMA fight or watching Alex Singleton play linebacker?
Oof.
I mean, they're both. I'm used to both. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm used to the pain on both sides.
He said, "Yeah, it's a push."
Yeah. I'm used to it.
Oh man, that goes to tells you how painful it is for him to watch Alex Singleton play.
Yeah.
Oh man, I lean to that, LeVar. Now, switching it up here. Now, obviously, you've been in there in the UFC, been in there, Bellator, Strikeforce, all these things. You got some big heavyweights fighting tonight. Derek Lewis. We got our local Philly boy here, Chris Dawkins, in the main event tonight. You got any favorites?
I like Lewis. I like the big boy. You always love the heavyweights. I just like to see good fights. Yeah, you also got the little Tyrone Woodley thing going on tonight.
I'm not giving that no love. I'm giving my Philly, and it's sad because I have absolutely massive love for Amanda Serrano. Absolutely massive love for that woman. Won't give that card no love tonight. I'm sorry.
All right, we won't talk about that.
But I do give a lot of respect to some of the things that Paul does outside of some of the antics. I don't like that he gave himself a belt this week. Being a guy that comes from a little bit of the old lineage. You earn your stripes, you earn your way. Isn't that a little disrespectful to the guy just making his own belt?
Yeah, I mean, he's entertaining.
If they made a promotion with Triller and Triller kind of say, okay, you're our de facto champion of this weight class. Yeah. I would understand that part of it. He gives himself one.
He just does whatever he wants to do. I'm just happy that the man is not being a keyboard warrior. He's calling these people out and he's actually fighting. So my props to him. I hope he keeps doing it.
You think he's gonna get? You think somebody's gonna catch him before he's like everyone gets caught in the sport. We all know this, LeVar, man. Yeah. Everyone gets caught. You get figured out at some point. You get the right matchup against the right guy that knows how to shut your thing down. You get caught. You think he's gonna get caught in the next year or two?
Oh, absolutely. He's working hard. He's doing what he's doing, but at the end of the day, a lot of these guys he's fighting are professionals. I mean. So I just understand why Willie didn't fight back the last fight.
I still think he hasn't taken a guy that's really like on his size, on his level, things of that nature. So it'd be interesting to see like what matchups happen moving forward. Tyron Woodley, he's more, he's a wrestler. He's got a big right hand. He's always had a big right hand.
He knocked out my boy Josh Koscheck.
Man, now there's a name drop right there. That was my main. That really got me loving MMA when MMA was first blowing up. The Ultimate Fighter series that first season, him and Forrest were my guys. He was the only guy from PA. We didn't have any Phillies guys, so Josh Koscheck was my de facto guy. Yeah. Not a lot of people liked him, but man, that dude could he could fight. He could put things together, man.
He's an athlete.
I remember that. What was the one when he had Chris Light on it? He was literally painting the whole freaking canvas with Chris's blood, man. It was a really tough fight at that time for him. Like it was one of the times on his way moving up to get that fight with GSP, man. It was a big one. It's like he's one of these guys that doesn't get the love that he should get because some of the things he did outside of the cage, and things of that nature. But got a lot of respect for him. He got a guy who can fly a plane, man. Forget the other stuff. He guy could fly himself to the fight if he wanted to.
He does. He's all over. He does whatever he wants to do, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely one of the OGs. I got respect for Josh. Love him, hate him, indifferent about him. He's got a place for me. Definitely got love for Josh. Now, what about you, man? It's been you were lightly rumored for a while. You were supposed to be making your bare knuckle boxing debut. I think it was with one of the UK guys that fell through. It's been about a year. COVID's been going on, things of that nature. Are we gonna see you in BKFC sometime soon? What's going on?
I have no idea. I don't know what's going on over at BKFC. I was supposed to fight Valor again with what's his name from the UK, Godbeer, Mark. I was supposed to fight
Mark
Godbeer. We were supposed to do it again this January. That fell through. And then Josh Burns just hit me up yesterday. He was like, "Hey man, you about to fight, soon here?" And I'm like, "Not that I know." So I guess they got something in the works. Hopefully, something soon.
I know. I seen David liked the post when I posted it up today, seeing that you were on there. So if you're saying Josh is reaching out, I know Josh is trying to give himself some names and keep himself warm because he thought he was going to be one of these guys next in line for that title fight. Doesn't look like he's getting it. I mean, yeah, it'd be smart to try to see if he could take you out, right?
I mean, I don't. Me and Josh, we match up. I don't know. We're totally different. I've known him for a while. I think I win that one. But of course, I favor myself on all these fights.
I'm not sitting there saying like I'm still looking at it from Josh's point of view. You're a big name, is a guy that's gonna bring eyes on him if he could possibly defeat you. I've had him on the show. Massive respect for him. Great. He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. No, he wasn't talking about me and him fighting. He was saying one of his buddies.
All right, yeah.
Offered him the fight, and he was letting him know that's probably not a good idea for you. But
I think I wish David, a year and a half worth of frustrations to let out on somebody. I don't think I would want to be the first person you're putting hands on either.
Yeah, I mean, I've been sitting around, waiting. Like I said, I ain't got nothing else to do. David needs to go ahead and put something out there. It's just they really don't want to pay you nothing, and it's like you're gonna get cut. You're gonna get. I mean, it's a lot of damage. You can break your hands and everything like that. I don't know.
You reached out to one of these other promotions, like maybe what BYB Extreme's doing with Donna 5000. You got freaking Jorge Masvidal. They just had a fight with Gamebred. I like I said, I don't know what they're offering as purses as far as that goes, and that's always been the biggest thing. I've always said it. You guys are underpaid. Sit there watching them put the payouts for the UFC this past weekend, and then like it's a great thing. Like all these guys are underpaid. Like Amanda Nunes underpaid. She should have got $1 million for that fight, regardless if she won or lost. But hey, what do I know?
Well, that's UFC has that monopoly, so they can pay you what they want, whatever they feel. I always said they probably pocket about 90% of the money and pay the top fighters about 10%. So
it's always been that cut, and hopefully, I know that they're still working on that antitrust lawsuit with a lot of the former UFC fighters. Hopefully, they get some leadway over the next few years, and we can start seeing some proper things happen for a lot of the athletes involved.
Absolutely.
Combat sports is something that. What do they categorize you got guys as? Subcontracted employees. It's ridiculous. It is.
It's a lot of work and a lot of risk, a lot of wear and tear on your body.
And then you look around. Claudia Gadelha just retired because her the last time she was out there had a concussion, and she's still having lingering effects. The UFC wound up offering her, some scouting type of position with the company down there in Brazil. I mean, it's, there's no doubt you guys are going to take damage in there. It's going to have some time of lasting effects. It all depends on your ability to absorb it, not to take the damage or to be able to have the luck of the draw to not have it.
Yeah, definitely. Mixed martial arts is for the love of the fucking sport. If you're not going to get rich, if you're, unless you're one of them top guys. I remember fighting, flying out to Seattle, Washington to fight for like $400 when I first started. So Yeah. I guess it's just for the love.
Now, son, I was talking about Tony Lopez a few days ago. You've been being a fighter. You guys have a unique thing where you guys get to go places that you probably normally wouldn't go in normal everyday life. Has the fight game ever taken you somewhere? Created a memory outside of the combat sports world. Like you said, you flew up to Seattle for your first fight. Obviously, being the UFC, Bellator, you've been able to kind of go places. You ever go anywhere unique to kind of have a lasting memory?
Man, all over the place, man. I've been all over the United States, Quebec, and I haven't been all over the world, but everywhere in the United States I've been, and yeah, it's fun. We get out there, we get like about a week to be out there and run around and do our thing. So we make memories everywhere. It's cool, and then it's also cool. Like, I'm a big fan of the sport before anything, so just meeting all these, Randy Couture's and you meet a lot of people that regular people don't get to meet. So
yeah, Randy is probably one of the few dudes I'll probably have to fan out about. The
only one I got really starstruck by is Herschel Walker.
that would be he's right back up there in my wall, dude.
Yeah, I even got to roll with Herschel, and I was.
Because he spent time down at AKA too.
Yeah. So I got to roll with him. I just let him do whatever he does. Herschel Walker, go ahead, man.
So you're letting Herschel get down on you.
Yeah, do what you do.
What do you think he's running for office now? He's that's from what I'm hearing. Yeah,
politician, huh? Yeah, good for him. You got to do something.
I don't think anyone could attack his character in any way, so it might be kind of hard to run against him.
Yeah, I've never heard anything bad about Hirsch,
Yeah. I don't think anyone could. Do you think he could develop just anytime I've ever seen him, had an experience with him, whatever? It's been every time I come across with someone, they've never have a bad thing to say about him. So it's going to be interesting to see. I guess it's the world we live in where now our sports athletes have to jump into politics because it is what it is in this world.
Yeah, got to have a voice for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Use it as a platform.
Isn't that what we all do now? Where we all use our voice and the gifted platforms to get our message out there.
Absolutely.
Regardless of like how we're doing it now through sports media, regardless if we're talking, politics, if we're talking, you have the gaming geeks of the world and things of that nature. And speaking of which, Spider-Man just came out. You a Marvel fan?
Yeah, I watch all the movies. Harry Potter, everything.
Oh, there's another one right there. My kids go nuts over that one. What do you think? Yeah, they got what was the new one? What was it? What the last one was Crimes of Grindelwald. Now it's The Secrets of Dumbledore. And they got that one coming out, the prequel from the Potter movies.
Yeah, I don't know all the names of the movies, but I watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, my buddy just went and seen the new Spider-Man. Said it was really good, so I want to check that out.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going like the first week or so because it's just nuts trying to go, but definitely got to catch that one in the theater.
And here in California, they're starting the whole mask thing again, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I just had a situation where my son had a quarantine. Some kid in his class tested positive. He doesn't have any symptoms or anything like that, but he's done for 14 days. I'm like, wait, I can't even get him tested? And he's like, nope, he's done for 14 days. I'm like, oh, my Jesus Christ.
How long is this going to go on for?
Oh, man. I don't know. I think everyone's having what is it, the COVID hangover now. It's just you're just worn out by it.
Yeah, now they're switching our games and everything, and it is what it is.
Yeah, Blue City says that the Eagles fans are crying about it. I don't know if we're crying about it. I just think that it's in a unique situation where you do everything right and you're punished for it. Where, like, I think if you put yourself in this situation and there has to be some repercussion. You know what I mean? The Eagles don't get anything in return. Other teams are not getting it. Like, I just don't see where they make out with it. No one's crying about it. No one likes it. We're in uncharted waters here. The players didn't like it. Like, you act like we're the only ones crying about it. And technically we're not crying about it. We're just having a discussion about it because the shoe's on the other foot. That this isn't happening. If this was the Eagles, they'd be trotting freaking Greg Ward Jr. out there like, let's see how you guys do tonight.
Yeah. Well, gives us more football. Football on a Tuesday. Can't be that bad.
I mean, I just think that I think the thing that I think should be more noted is that some of the fans who their life is scheduled around who have season tickets. We're expected to go to a Sunday game now. I looked over my social media feed and I've lost count. There's at least two handfuls of people selling Eagles tickets now because they can't go to the game. That's the other side of it that I don't think a lot of people really understand. And like, they're going to sell the tickets. They're not going to sell the ticket to face value at this point in time.
Yeah.
So what are we even talking about? They're missing out on the game. They're not getting their money's back worth for the tickets. They're in a rush to find somebody to go in their place at this point in time. So I just think no matter what, it's just a giant mess, unfortunately. It's just one of those unfortunate things that we're just going to have to deal with.
Just have to deal with it. That's right. Try to make the best of it.
Now, when we talk about sports, that word "goat" gets thrown around there. We talk about quarterbacks. We hear about it in combat sports. What are your thoughts? You think the "goat" term is kind of being overused just in sports in general? Obviously combat sports, I think we overuse it when it comes to some of the things, and I think.
Yeah, I think they're speaking a little bit too soon, just like the whole Emmanuel Nunez thing. She's the GOAT, but then.
Here's the thing about that. I was talking about that earlier in the week with somebody, and everyone was like, that was the greatest upset in UFC history. Did we forget Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman never happened or something?
Huh.
Like, I just remember he was like freaking, he was basically Neo in the Matrix. Nobody could do anything to Anderson Silva, and Chris Weidman knocked him out.
Got him. Yeah, everybody's beatable. I mean, like
I just said, you get figured out at some point in time. It's either you lose mentally, or you just get broken down and you lose that way.
Or you could just get lucky. You could be getting your ass whipped the whole time, the whole fight, and then the last 10 seconds, throw a punch and knock somebody out.
For the perfect punch, when they make the perfect mistake.
Yep. Who did that just recently happen to? Man, somebody was getting whooped the whole fight. No, it wasn't. I was going to say it was Overeem when he got his lip busted, maybe. Well,
I remember that one. Yeah, he was getting tore up from the floor up. All of a sudden, he just. Sometimes it's your ability to weather those storms and just regain your composure and be able to land that strike. Sometimes is all the differences in the fight.
The Homer Simpson technique. That'll beat you till they get tired.
The Homer Simpson. I got to remember that one. The Homer Simpson technique. Oh man. So if you had to put that technique to a fighter, who would you put that to?
Oh, I've seen Chris Levin pretty good at that.
Chris Levin, yeah. Chris Levin used to be punch drunk, knocked out on his feet, and somehow he wanted to get someone charging in and just throw a right hand and the guy's out on the floor. It's like, oh.
Cabbage was pretty good at that too.
Cabbage Carrera. Oh, yeah, there's a name.
Yeah.
You dropping them old school names on me, LeVar. I love it.
Yeah. Been doing this for a while, man.
So who's your MMA GOAT, man? Everyone has it. Like, it's different in weight classes and things of that nature.
John Jones.
It's still John Jones.
It has to be John Jones, and I can't wait to see him fight as a heavyweight. You guys can understand. I got to train with DC, and DC's wrestling is just so great, and for DC not be able to take him down as a light heavyweight, and him to be able to take DC down at will when he was when they
just how he did it too was just crazy.
It's gonna be crazy because if John Jones wants to take down Ngannou or Cyril, he can do it.
That's the one I want to see, him and Ngannou. But I actually want if Chris Daukaus happens to pull this off, I want to see him and Stipe. But if that fight doesn't happen, like if Chris Daukaus loses to Derek tonight, I would much rather see John Jones and Stipe go at it.
That would be a nice one too.
The reason why I'm saying is a lot of the area guys here want to get a fight night here in April, and the one that they're calling for is Chris Daukaus and Stipe Miocic. If he wins this fight, that would be fun with the loads of talent that we have going on in the area that are calling for it. I think that would be a fun one. It's just there's some unique things that are going on right now, but John Jones, man. The thing is, if that man could ever get out of his own way, he probably would be the biggest star the sport had ever seen.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
He's an enigma, man. That's what he is.
I mean, Tyson had it going on. I think it's just him being young, or you know what? I don't know. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you either. I couldn't guess. I couldn't sit there and say this is it or that is it. It's one of those things where, like, listen, he's his own man. He's gonna be making his own choices along these manners. Hopefully, at some point in time, he's able to kind of mentally mature by putting everything else together, and we can see it manifest inside of a cage. Would be great.
Yeah. Hopefully, like you said, as he gets older, hopefully he matures a little bit and hopefully doesn't have to go to prison or lose something, or hurt somebody really bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, because like the last few times he's gotten involved in stuff, it's involved with his potential of hurting the mass public, and I think that's when you have a problem. It's one thing if you want to destroy yourself, your own life, things of that nature, but when you start involving other people, it's rough. You look at what just happened to Henry Ruggs, man. Literally just threw his life away because he was drunk and couldn't say to somebody, "Can you drive me home?"
So young, but yeah, like I said, it's unfortunate they got to go through that, to learn.
We all make choices in life, right, my friend?
Yeah, but you know what the thing is, the way the laws are so crazy. Even though Ruggs did kill somebody, he'll probably do about a year and a half for the DUI, for killing somebody. As you know, before I've been to prison too, and I was in there with guys that had killed people during the DUI, got sentenced to 6 years, ended up doing a year and a half and being going home.
The system's weird in so many ways. I couldn't tell anyone to try to explain it to me or anything like that. I'll tell you this much: if he only does a year and a half for killing somebody, the public isn't gonna let that slide. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I've seen it over and over.
I've seen it too. I've seen it right here in Philadelphia. A lot of people didn't feel like Michael Vick should have gotten off as easy as did, or should have been able to have that being able to earn a living here, and then he got sent right here to Philadelphia. I've seen a lot of people weren't happy about that. It's one of these things where you can't control everything. I think a lot of times people do deserve a second chance, depending on what the thing is that you did. This was just a really egregious situation. It's just, it's just, I don't know if something in a year and a half could change the way he thinks to that point.
Well, losing a lot of money and probably not even being able to play back in the NFL probably is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the NFL said along those natures. If they suspended him for life, indefinitely, whatever. I mean, that's just another conversation. I know he was immediately fired, but we all know how the NFL works. He's a young commoditable star or potential star.
If we could bring in them dollars.
Exactly. And one thing the NFL does love is a good comeback story, and it's one of the things, I guess time will tell, things of that nature, just like time will tell when we're going to see LeVar back in that ring, that cage, whatever it happened to be, man. Right up on the 30 minutes, what I let as I just saying what I did with Chris is I'll do the same thing for you, LeVar. What I typically do is throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, your training partners, teammates, social sites, let everyone know where to file the comments and go. And if you have any sponsors, anything like that, anything you're doing outside of combat sports that you would like the fan to know to keep up with what's going on with you, the time is yours, my friend.
Yeah, man, I just want to thank you guys for having me, and just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, man, and Merry Christmas to all the Eagle fans out there.
Definitely appreciate that one, LeVar. It's always going to be fun catching everyone with that, and we'll see how that goes. But as we wrap it up, appreciate the time, and we'll definitely try to get you back on here again in the future, my friend.
Right on, brother. You guys have a good night, man. Thank you for having me again.
It's always a pleasure, my friend. You have a good one. All right, everyone. That was LeVar Johnson, a big Eagles fan, combat sports guy, UFC veteran. Hopefully, we'll see him in bare knuckle boxing soon. Zach, you were frozen for the better part of the last 15 minutes. Are you okay, man?
No, we're never okay over here, Steven. We're not okay. What do you mean, okay?
Oh, man. But want to quick change gears here real quick. I know we had two guests back to back right off the gate. We weren't able to get through some of these reads, but before we get into our next part of the next part of our program, the last hour, our next topic is brought to you by Patty Wax. Make sure you're checking them out using that code A2D. And we're gonna get involved in this Urban Meyer stuff, man. I know Zach wants to unload on this on the Urban Meyer situation. Zach, he's been fired from the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a short run. It didn't last long. Lay it out for the people what happened, and let's get into this.
Well, first of all, I got into a big time debate on my Facebook page with somebody that I umpire with over this stuff, over, how important pattern of behavior is when it comes to shit like this. And, this idea that for example, my friend that I umpire with, the case he was trying to make is, because I made the Facebook post that this guy's a garbage human being, talking about Urban Meyer, which I think all of us have known for a long time. Anybody that's watched the guy, we know he's a garbage human being. A lot of garbage human beings in pro sports. But for this guy to have the audacity, the attitude, like, Steven, if you're on a football field and a coach walks up to you and kicks you in your leg as you're stretching, you square up and biting the guy. Like, let's be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a grown man. Don't come over here and kick me, you fucking piece of shit. What are you talking about? And my friend was trying to make it into this idea that, like, he's just goofing around with some pussy kicker that couldn't take a joke. No, that's not the way this goes. Like, that's not how this is. Like,
listen.
That's a ridiculous fucking argument to make.
You're a garbage human being because we're going
first of all,
listen.
The attitude, the audacity to think you could do that and get away with it, Steven.
I'm not sold on this thing that kickers are like this irrelevant thing. First and foremost. Secondly, I don't care if it was the freaking last guy on the 53-man roster. Should be treating any guy on your roster that way. Human being, staff member. God forbid he was treating like a member of this guy's family that way. Like, holy crap! Get out of here with this nonsense.
You know what's funny about it is.
Now, the other side of this is what does this do for some of the validity of some of these other college coaches that are trying to come in? Is this going to make things harder for them to get in when you see a thing like Urban Meyer blow up in this type of manner?
I don't think it affects the college coaches as much as it just kind of shines a light on the idea of, like, how long was this guy getting away with this stuff at the college level where, like, nobody could really do anything about it, because when you're a guy that's got his type of power at a university like that and you're dealing with 18, 19-year-old kids,
I still think
they don't really have a resource to do anything about it. NFL, you're dealing with grown men that make more than you. You ain't going to get away with it.
Like, you have to do different things to motivate millionaire grown men to go play football. It's easy to terrify young kids that I'm going to take your scholarship away and you're going to be screwed.
It's easy to smack an 18-year-old kid in the back of the head, right? You smack a 30-year-old grown man in the back of the head, it's a different story.
Yeah. Like, you're going to do what? Yeah, all right. My contract says otherwise.
It's just weird. And the funny thing is, the wifey watched it, watched the whole and read the whole story about it. And she doesn't know who Urban Meyer is, right? It's not like she knows who Urban Meyer is from a football standpoint or a coaching standpoint, but she just read the whole story and kind of about how it all played out. And she goes, he seems like somebody that goes home and beats his wife at night. And it made me laugh because I'm like, you know what? Like, It is like that is the type of attitude. The person that walks around a football field thinking he can get away with kicking his players, or assaulting his players in that way, it does make me think, hey, what does this guy go home and do at night? Like, this is the same dude we saw on video a few months ago that was getting a lap dance from somebody that was young enough to be his daughter. He's 51 years old getting a lap dance and grinding up on some girl that's young enough to be his daughter at a bar that he owns in fucking Columbus, Ohio. And then, you've got stories about him calling out coaches in the meeting about how they're losers. And I know how to win and flashing his championship rings. And everybody in this room better prove to me and show me on their resume why they deserve to have a job here. And you're like, bro, like, what type of fucking egotistical motherfucker walks into a locker room with, in a professional sports locker room and thinks that he can say that type of shit and that it's going to fly and just be okay? Like, you've got a lot of audacity to think that you can get away with that type of stuff in a locker room like that. With grown men, it just doesn't make any sense unless you're really somebody that feels like you've got to have a special type of like elitism attitude to you to think that you can get away with it without consequences. And he gives me that type of vibe. A guy that thinks I can do what I want. I can get away with whatever I want because that's the way it goes. And when he says, well, I'm the head ball coach, I can kick whoever the fuck I want. Maybe when you were at Ohio State or the University of Florida, this is really weird to me, bro. Like, that is how wife beaters act. That is how people that go home and beat their wives act. I can beat my wife, and there's nobody that can do a damn thing about it because I'm the man around here, and the man's the man, and what are you going to do about it? A lot of damn things, motherfucker. Like, you're lucky I don't fucking fight you in the middle of the practice field. Like, it's really a weird dynamic that this dude has. But, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because you're dealing with, kind of that, that attitude of what we've learned between college coaches and the NFL over the past 5 to 10 years, that there really has been that, that type of attitude about that they are above the law. They can get away with whatever they want to get away with, and there's not anybody that can do a thing about it. So it doesn't really surprise me, but it's just, like this is fucked up. People like this should not be coaching at any level. You know what I mean? Like, if you knew that this type of dude was coaching your 18 or 19-year-old son and was doing this type of shit on a practice field or in a locker room with your 19-year-old kid, you'd want to show up at the university and fight the guy, in the name of your kid. Like, you ain't going to treat my kid that way. Like, that's the type of thing that's going on.
Wing's comment here. You watching the game when it's game plans the same to her. It's just now a run first.
They got ahead early. They're up 14-0 early. When you're ahead 14-0, yeah. Like, and they've been running. First of all, they've got Jonathan Taylor. They actually did a whole drive, their first touchdown drive, which Wentz didn't throw the ball. They ran the ball with Jonathan Taylor, Naeem Hines, and a couple of reversals with wide receivers and ran for a touchdown. Why would you throw the ball if you're just running it down their throat? But Wentz also threw a touchdown pass, so it's not like they can't throw it. They're just picking and choosing their times. It's 17-0. Now you're trying to protect the lead. This is why I've been telling people if the Colts are going to make the playoffs, and when they get to the playoffs, they can play with anybody because they can run the football and play great defense. And it's not like Carson can't throw the ball. And that they were in a slugfest with Baltimore, and Carson threw over 400 yards. They should have won that game, and their defense gave up a 24-point lead or whatever it was in the second half. So, I think you got New England, Kansas City, and the Colts. Those are the three teams in the AFC right now where it really look like they're going to be the best three teams when it comes to playoff time, because all three of them they can they can play great defense. Kansas City's playing phenomenal defense right now, and they've seen to figure things out offensively, and they've proven they know how to win. The other two teams, they can run the ball really well and play elite defense, and that wins in January. That wins come playoff time. So Buffalo's a mess right now. They can't run the ball at all, and everything with them's kind of all over the place. So I wouldn't be scared of them come playoff time, and there's nobody really else in the AFC that scares you. Cleveland, Baltimore, but nobody else really scares you. Those three teams, you're like, yeah, they can play with anybody come playoff time.
So I have no problem with the way the Colts are running this. Like, I like, who cares? Who cares they're running the ball? I mean, I get it. Yeah, it looks like a lot what the Eagles offense are running right now. But if Carson Wentz doesn't have to throw the ball 30 times a game, why he does? I think that was the whole problem.
Why would you force him to throw the ball that many times, right? Like.
But that's when he's good. When is when you keep him in that 25 to 32 range. That's
and they're going to play action here. I mean, they're up 17-0. New England's putting a drive together. New England will score, and you'll watch Indy throw the ball a little bit and do different things. Like I said, it's not like they don't have the ability. Carson's got 23 touchdowns now, 5 interceptions on the year, and he's on pace to throw for like 4,500 yards or something. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like they don't throw the ball there. They're not hiding him. They're just picking and choosing their times, to
Which
do
is
it.
what any
We
good
run the
team
ball
should
to hide
do.
Jalen Hurts.
This is what any good team should do.
Yeah, that's what especially this time of year. That's when you're trying to we've got to be able to run the ball and play great defense and play smash mouth football, because come January, that's what you're going to have to do when you go to places like New England and Kansas City and Buffalo when it's 30 degrees out. It's just what you got to do. Indy's not going to play every playoff game at home, which they would love to because they're in a dome and it helps, but they're not. They're going to have to go on the road at times. So probably most of the time, because they're going to be a wild card team.
So with
This
that
will be a
being
big win
said,
for them.
that being said, let's kind of circle back to it, because we didn't actually really got to get into this game. We've been talking about everything surrounding the game. We're talking about it being moved. We're talking about Jalen Hurts. We're talking about let's talk about the actual game. Obviously, Washington's gonna be not 100%. Regardless if they get some, if not all their COVID players back, they're gonna be damned. As I was sitting there saying to Chris, this is obviously gonna be really interesting now. The dynamic with the Eagles are gonna be pissed off and upset. Feeling slighted. That they have an extra few days to kind of look at things, see how they're gonna go about it. You think we're gonna see them run all over these guys? We're gonna see a chippy game. What do you think the fans are gonna see when they tune in Tuesday night?
Well, Washington tries to play the same type of games we do. They want to control the clock, play smash mouth football, end up in a game where it's low scoring. They don't want to get into a slugfest with you, and I think that's the same thing we try to do. I don't know. I don't know how much the COVID thing is going to play into anything or not. Guys are always looking for the opportunity to step up and get their chance to go out and show what they can do. And at the NFL level especially, you never know what 22, 23-year-old kids on the second or third string, and can go take advantage of his opportunity when it's given to him. So I don't know if I'm like, all of a sudden, we should go win this game. We can win this game. At the same time, we could not win the game, and look the same way we did against the Giants. I think it'll be a close game. Washington plays a ton of close games, but if they've got everything set up the way they want it offensively, with Heineke at quarterback and the receivers healthy and them running the ball the way they want to, it's going to be a game it's going to be smash mouth, 21-17, 24-21, something like that. I guess if you win the game, it makes it interesting, but if they win the game, it also makes it interesting for them because they're still right there in the heart of the playoff race. So got two teams playing for a lot right now. I don't like being in our position. They've got COVID stuff going on. We don't even know who our quarterback's going to be tomorrow. And you're over here worried about what Washington, or on Tuesday, and you're over here worried about what Washington's got going on COVID-wise. I'm more worried about who's playing quarterback come Tuesday. I don't know about you. You know what I'm saying? But
and Chris confirmed that they still haven't decided. So, listen, as much as
that tells you everything you need to know. If they haven't made a decision by now on who the guy's going to be, I might bet more money that it's going to be Gardner Minshew than I'm going to bet money it's going to be Jalen Hurts because, just because.
Listen, like we were talking with Chris earlier, I don't know. He's saying they're saying it's 50-50. We can't say who it's gonna freaking be. We know the bye week helps, and then now you're gonna get an extra few days on top of that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jalen Hurts at all. But then again, at the same time, I'd be surprised to see Gardner Minshew trotting out there.
Yeah, at this point, I don't know what I feel about you. I don't even know what to do to make. There's nothing we can really do to make this situation better. But at this point, Jalen Hurts has got, he's got a Mark Sanchez noodle arm, and he's got, he's got Tyrod Taylor athleticism. Good for you. You've got Tyrod Taylor's legs and Mark Sanchez's arm. Neither one of those things is doing me anything at the NFL level long term. Look at his numbers in his first whatever. Yeah, I know. They're the same as Cordell Stewart's numbers were in his first fucking 26 starts or whatever the hell it was. 27. Stop with this nonsense. I'm over it. We need to give him 2022. Why? For what reason? So I can sit here and go crazy again next year for Like, please, for the love of God, no. I'd rather watch your noodle arm play. Like, let's tell you.
Well, before it gets it's too late to do that. Derek Lewis and Mr. Chris Dawkins are about to step in there. So let me get your thoughts on this one, man. Like, who's going to come out on top of this one?
I'll go with Dawkins just because he's a Philly guy.
Yeah, LeVar went with the other dog in this fight, Mr. Derek Lewis, Mr. Hot Balls. If anything, that probably the only interesting thing to see is see Derek on the mic afterwards is that. But that being said, like I've sat there, I've watched Chris, we've had him here on the show. You know, I've watched this guy progress over the last handful of years. You know, even more so since he retired from the the Philadelphia police department. You know, that he was with 10 years to pursue this full time, and he's knocking on that contender's door. I don't think it's an accident. I think he's well rounded. I think he has the striking, he has the wrestling, he has the cardio, he has the ground game. Doesn't take anything away from Derek Lewis. He's a KO machine, but at the same time,
oh wow,
what?
Oh, Mac Jones just threw an interception in the red zone. Oh my God, Indy's about to roll the shit out of them and announce themselves into the playoff picture. Wow.
And I guess we don't have to worry about that first round pick now. It's definitely ours.
Well, yeah, we always knew it was going to be ours. They didn't have to make the playoffs for it to be ours. They just
I know. But no, I know. I was just, kind of beating the dead horse, making fun of it because, like, there was, Carson Wentz is just this chandelier player. Can't make it through a season.
Yeah. They've got everything it takes to make a run. I mean, when you really put it all together.
They're at where we want to be at right now, if you really think about it.
They run the football. They play elite defense. They've got great linebacker play, something we don't have.
What did I just say? At least LeVar's on board with us, man. We need a linebacker, right? we need anything to get Alex Singleton out of there. The fact that LeVar says it's just about as painful to watch Alex play linebacker as getting punched in the face by freaking pro level MMA heavyweights is bad. Mac Jones is forever a game manager. I don't know. Maybe he is. What do you think?
I mean, he can make throws. I mean, I just don't think he's just not going to put your team on his back, which Bill Belichick doesn't necessarily ask the quarterback to do that. But yeah, I mean, like, he's not like, if Carson needs to, he can go out there and throw for 400 yards and throw 4 touchdowns and win you a game. Yeah. We've seen it. He was, in the Baltimore game this year, they shouldn't have lost to the Ravens. They gave up a 24-point lead in the second half when he threw for over 400 yards and didn't turn the ball over and had one of the best games of his career. And, he does everything he needs to do for them to win that game. It wasn't like he didn't game manage that game, right? He put you on his back. Mac Jones is a guy that I don't know if he's ever going to do that, but I don't know. I don't know if he's a game manager. I don't know if that's fair. He can make plays for you. He can make throws. He can, he can do things for you to be like, oh wow, like, hey, that's a really good throw. Like, hey, that's a tough throw.
I know we switched gears off of Meyer quick too. Who do you think is going to be the replacement? Is that the new landing spot for Doug Peterson?
Who, in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
It is a chance. I mean, if I'm Jacksonville, I think I hire Byron Leftwich, because I think if you're them, this is Jacksonville. It doesn't really have a culture of any kind. Now, when you think about it, Jacksonville used to have a culture, right? In the 90s, when they became a franchise, when they were an expansion team and Tom Coughlin was there, great culture. Mark Brunell, guys like that, right? Jack Del Rio becomes the coach. They still had that winning culture. They would win 8-9 games every year. They made the playoffs a few times. Byron Leftwich was their quarterback for a little bit. Then David Garrard, but he's a guy that understands, like, listen, Jacksonville, it's one of those things where, like, it's hard to win here. There's a certain way about, how everything works there, and they really haven't had an identity in a long time. And Byron Leftwich was a guy that, having played there and was there the last time they really had stability when Jack Del Rio was the head coach, I think it's a good idea for him to go there. I mean, what does Doug Peterson know about stability? His whole time here in Philadelphia was nothing but an unstable circus. You know, it was the Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey circus the entire time he was here. You know, whether it was his fault or not, it just was. You know, so like why would he want to go to an organization where that's all it's been for the past 10 to 15 years has been a complete circus act? You know what I'm saying? I think if you're him, you're like, yeah, I'm looking for better opportunities than Jacksonville. I won a Super Bowl a few years back. I can find better opportunities. Not that, you know, me and you, we both feel the same way about him. I don't necessarily think it's like, oh, if Jacksonville hires him, they become a contender. I think he goes there and they might suck just as bad as they always have, because he's going to be way in over his head and be like, what the hell's going on here? Holy shit. It's not like is he some quarterback whisperer? I mean, like, you know, he wasn't here. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of things were really ugly and went downhill with the quarterback play here in a hurry.
I don't know about that one there, buddy. All right, Carson. No, wait. No, I know you're talking about
saying Carson can, yeah. Sure, yeah, right. Exactly.
You're about to get a butt ripping there, right there, Mr.
I don't know if you want Carson to be in that position, because Carson turns into Brett Favre and starts slinging it around and trying to fit balls in the windows that aren't necessarily there. But you live by the sword, you die by it. We've seen him bring us back and put us in positions to win games when you're playing from behind. You've also seen him, do stupid shit when you're ahead and be like, dude, why are you doing that? But that is what it is. We know he has that in him. You just don't necessarily – you don't want to put any quarterback in that position for them to have to do it. But they've got the formula to go win in the playoffs. Look what they're doing. They're shutting New England out 17-0 at home here. I mean, that's big time. That's it's good stuff. Yes, it was. You're right. That Baltimore lost to – Indy's kicker missed 2 field goals and an extra point in that game. Yeah, it was 100% on their kicker. Yeah, absolutely. I mean – your defense, even though your kicker sucks, your defense can't blow a 24-point second-half lead. That can't happen either. But, the kicker, if he makes a kick or two, it doesn't matter. But, yeah, still.
Now, where do you – this dog, man.
I feel you.
You hear him? So angry.
I hear him. Dude, I had money on the Nets in a parlay with the Colts and the Jazz. And the Nets were down big by like 18, and they're missing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And I was like, why the fuck did I bet on them knowing they're missing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving? But they're coming back against the Magic, and it's a 4-point game now. So maybe we have a chance. You're telling me there's a chance, Steven? Is there a chance?
Just like what we're talking about this Eagle, is there still a chance this team is making the playoffs?
See, I think that's the other side of it, Steven. As you know me, I don't think this is a playoff team anyway. So I think it's kind of an
I don't. But me and you are both on the same page. As we thought they were just on the outside looking in, and that's where they probably should be. At this point in time, like, I wouldn't care if they lost out, because I'd be fine with the picks.
I mean, I don't see us lose out,
But I'd be fine with them losing out if I seen progression on the field. Like, it was a back and forth game. There's some mistakes were made, but as a team they looked good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what. I think for me, I know what my quarterback situation is. I know I need to get better at a few different positions. I need to find a workhorse running back, because we don't have one. And the Miles Sanders experiment is over. It doesn't take you 4 years. Like, after 4 years, your NFL career is going downhill if you're a running back. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going into year 4 next year. Like, at this point,
Pete?
I need to go find a guy that's like a Derrick Henry type, a Najee Harris type, because that really helps no matter who your quarterback is. If you can hand a ball off to a running back 25 times a game,
there's a dumb comment.
Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with anything. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're going to have a guy where we're not sure how much he can sling it around the field, I want to go get a workhorse running back in the draft with one of those first-round picks, a guy that can be a Jonathan Taylor, right, as you see with the Colts and what they're doing. I need a guy like that I can hand the ball off to 25 times a game and let him be a workhorse running back for me, and then I'll work Kenny Gainwell and these other guys off of that. go getting another receiver or something like that would be phenomenal. Getting an edge pass rusher would be phenomenal. Linebacker, as much as we said, linebacker. When are we really going to draft a linebacker in the first round? We had a chance to draft Michael Parsons, and we said, fuck it. So, but there's a few positions we need to try to get better at.
Smith at this point in time, as much as I wanted Micah Parsons, and you know me, you were with me there. You know how I felt about that. And I was like, if this is
Micah Parsons might be the defensive player of the year. I'll say this: TJ Watt's the defensive player of the year. If it wasn't for TJ Watt, Micah Parsons is your defensive player of the year, and he's a rookie. Like, that's how good that kid is. And he would absolutely.
Fact that he's a rookie and he has as many sacks as he has should flat out make him the defensive player of the year.
It's absolutely insane. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Michael Parsons looks like Lawrence Taylor out there.
The point that I was already going to sit there and say he isn't Howard the guy, but here's
the thing. Howard's not that guy. No, 27-year-old running backs aren't that guy. Like, Howard's been around. Like, Howard's a good, change of pace guy. He's not going to be your workhorse where he carries the ball 25, 30 times a game for an entire season. Like, he's never been that guy. You never will. Like, running backs don't just turn into Jerome Bettis out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we kidding me with that? Like, no, Howard's not that guy. Jordan Howard is in his 6th year of his career now. Like, sorry, no, that guy doesn't get a franchise running back contract. You don't sign him to a 5-year extension. At 60, 70 million. You just don't. Like, that's no. First of all, I don't mean to be offensive, but how long you been watching football? Like, that shouldn't even be a question. Like, running backs like that, that's never the way the running back position works. They got a 4 or 5 year peak and then it's over. Look at Ezekiel Elliott in Dallas. We're doing the same thing with him. Had a good start to the year. Now he's falling off a cliff again. Literally Tony Pollard's a better option for them than Ezekiel Elliott is right now. And, they're stuck with a bad contract with him. And he was a guy that the first 2-3 years of his career was an elite running back. And then he's just a guy. That's how the running back position works. And you have a good game here or there, but you're not going to do that for 16, 17 games. Jordan Howard's nice coming off being a change of pace guy that can do that, every few games or do it for a 4 or 5 game stretch. He's not going to turn into Terrell Davis overnight. Like, stop.
Now, I think that I don't know if he's still your hammer, but he's not a number one. Like, what he works well, when spelled with the other guy.
Right. Now, they all work well spelled together. We've got 4 guys that carry the ball: Jalen, Jordan Howard, Kenny Gainwell, and Boston Scott.
Have you been able to find the perfect mix with all of them? No. It takes a while to get each one of them plugged in there, and that's what I mean. You don't, even with them all together, making the perfect back, you still can't make the mixture work properly. And I think that's why guys are sitting there saying we need that back. We need if Miles is not the guy, we need to move on from Miles.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're in two positions with Miles Sanders. You're either signing him to a big extension, or you're going to let him walk in free agency, or try to trade him, get something from him, or whatever. But those are your 2 options. Like, this is the time where you either sign a running back. He's at that point in his rookie contract with the running back where you're either signing them to that big extension, or you're moving on. And I'm not signing a guy that's always banged up and has fumble problems to a big extension at this point. This is a dude that we thought was going to be like a Marshall Faulk type player, when he was first drafted. And it's just, at times he looks like Marshall Faulk, and at times he looks like Lawrence Phillips, the guy that, went to jail and played for the Rams before they traded for Marshall Faulk. Steven, you remember Lawrence Phillips? He killed a man or something, murdered a couple people.
Oh, man, don't get started.
Remember? And then Dick Vermeil tried to save his career, and it just didn't happen. They traded for Marshall Faulk and had the greatest show on turf sort of thing. But, yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. Like, I'm not – it's just that idea is over. It is what it is. If you tell me you're signing Miles Sanders to a big extension, I think you're nuts.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's getting the extension here. I think that they try to either go find something in free agency or go and draft one with with the capital they got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's your best option. Go find. I mean, You're telling me that kid from Michigan State, Kenneth Walker III, doesn't look good in this offense, and you're getting him probably with a second or third round pick, not even a first round pick. You know, he's somebody that's a workhorse. He's a Jonathan Taylor type, right? You watched him run all over people, at Michigan State. That kid from Michigan, I don't know if he's coming out or of the draft or not, but you saw what he did for Michigan this year. As far as helping them win a Big Ten title. So, you need a workhorse back of that kind. Can you find it in other? Yeah, you can find it in a lot of different areas. I think it'd be time that we haven't had a guy like that in a long, long time. And you need a guy like that right now. And then, if you already get a guy like that, and then next year you're able to find a franchise quarterback, or you draft a guy like that, and all of a sudden you're still able to trade for Derek Carr, things look a hell of a lot better. Than they did 6 months before. If we're having this conversation in April. All of a sudden you trade Jalen Hurts in a first-round pick for Derek Carr, and then one of those first-round picks you get a workhorse running back, and the other one you get some type of edge pass rusher. Yeah, we're in business next year. You're a lot better than you were.
I told you, you get ready to start replacing Brandon Graham. I don't know if Eagles fans are ready to listen to us or hear it. You're going to have to get ready to replace him soon. Coming off that injury, being the age he is, I know he's loved in this town. I already said it. I felt that they should have made a statue of him, not Nick Foles. I've said it many times. You're gonna have to get ready to move on from him, guys. He's not gonna be the same guy. And don't anyone with a serious face try to tell me Derek Barnett's the answer over there.
No, you're moving on. First of all, just for salary cap reasons, so that way you could do things you need to do to improve the skill positions. On this team, Derek Barnett's out. Brandon Graham has to be out. Fletcher Cox might be out. Maybe you can involve him in a deal to go get Derek Carr. We'll trade you one bad contract for another sort of thing. And if you're the Raiders, you're like, what, Fletcher Cox is, for them, that's the type of smash mouth in your face type of player they want. That contract's not that bad. They really like him. He improves their defense sort of thing, right? If that's the case. But, you're trying to move on from contracts like that and just go in different directions. Fletcher Cox, same thing. The dude's over 30 now. Are you really, are you really giving 5-year extensions to guys that are his age? No, he's at the tail end of his contract. Most of the guaranteed money's gone. You try to move on from it. Other things to fix ahead of what? I mean, we don't have a franchise running back. Let's be honest. Where's the franchise running back? We don't have a franchise quarterback or a franchise running back, Steven. You can't not have both. You got to have one of the two. You know what I'm saying? And we don't got either one. If you're not going to be able to throw the ball with a franchise quarterback, you better be able to have a franchise running back that can run the ball. We don't got either one. So what are you going to do?
Can't sit here and continue to play this game, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could go in the next year in this situation, but it ain't going to do you much good. Like, you got to try to get better at the skill positions that you need to get better at. I'd like improvement on our offensive line, but I still think we're in a good position there. You're trying to find Jason Kelsey's replacement, but I don't necessarily think you're going to spend a first-round pick on that guy. I've probably got 3 positions I'm really focused on: running back, some type of linebacker or edge player that can rush the quarterback and create havoc defensively.
I guess is that where
I don't even know if they have to rush the quarterback or stop them. They just got to create havoc defensively, right? So I've got running back and a defensive player that can create havoc defensively, and probably another receiver or offensive playmaker of some kind in that area. Whether it's
is that where we're at? We're already looking at next season. We're just foregoing whatever's going to happen the rest of the season.
Well, what else can you do with this year as far as, this season is what it is. It's either Minshew or Jalen Hurts as your quarterback. I don't know if either one's really that much better than the other, so you're really in the same position with both. I think we know enough about Quez Watkins where we know we like him enough where he's got a role on this team.
Oh yeah,
as far as
I still think he should have Jalen Reagor's role right now, if you ask me.
I agree, but here's the problem with that is DeVonta Smith's your X receiver, right? He's your guy that's your legitimate X outside receiver.
I know, and I know that's why he's. What I mean is, like, especially like on special teams. That's what like take that.
I think so, but I also think they want to try to keep him. If anything, just let Boston Scott return kicks. Let Kenny Gainwell return kicks or something like that. If you're really that worried about, Quez Watkins getting hurt or something, because he's not the biggest dude. He is slight of frame and things like that. But if he's Jalen Reagor's role offensively, that means you don't have another outside receiver. So I think you're just in a position where you need to go draft one more receiver that you know can make plays. That way, Devontae's your X receiver. Watkins can play outside or in the slot or wherever you want him to play, and then you've got another guy that's going to line up on the other, as the Y receiver on the other, outside on the other side or in the slot if you need him to be. But you can't just have one, Devontae's really your only legit receiver. Then you're trying to put Watkins in positions to create mismatches, but that doesn't work when Jalen Reagor's your other receiver, because that's not going to create a mismatch. They're just going to focus on Watkins no matter where he goes on the field. But I think if you get another offensive weapon, even if it's a tight end, and a big body target that can create havoc and gain the defense's attention, it allows Watkins to exploit one-on-one mismatches. Because that's what you're looking for. We used to do that with D-Jax, right? If D-Jax was one-on-one, you had a mismatch, you knew Donovan was going to throw it up top and let D-Jax try to go make a play. Same thing with, Michael Vick once he was the quarterback. If D-Jax is open down the field, if there was a one-on-one mismatch, you knew Michael Vick was going to take that shot down the field because that's what you do. That's my problem with Jalen, in the Giants game, when you could see the safety cheating over to DeVonta Smith's side and you have Quez Watkins one-on-one, there's absolutely no reason for you not to take your chance there. Even if it's an incomplete pass, even if it's a turnover, it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, why are you not taking that shot down the seam? You just have to.
Like I said, hopefully it's something we'll see addressed. I think I'm more like Chris's line. You have DeVonta, you have Quez there. Go find a veteran. Who could fill that two role almost like what you did when you brought in Alshon Jeffrey a few years ago.
I'd love to go sign Allen Robinson. To be honest, he's probably the top receiver on the market. Go sign me Allen Robinson. Played at Penn State, right? I mean.
You ain't gonna get no arguments with me. I'm a Penn State guy. I'll still have my love for him regardless of how fucked up the people were at that university.
And he was one of the guys that stuck it out there and showed loyalty to the program at a time when they were really at an all-time low. He's not a one, but he'll be really good as your two, especially when DeVonta Smith's getting a ton of attention. And I really like how he can control the middle of the field as possession receiver, which when Quez Watkins is kind of, getting attention down the field, and attracting extra safety help and stuff. A guy like Allen Robinson gets to eat in the middle, a lot like the way Jeremy Maclin used to when D-Jax used to beat people over the top.
Yeah, man. Like if you get yourself a nice 1-2-3 punch, because we forgot, we got Goddard there.
Yeah, that's where Robinson looks really good now. DeVonta Smith, Allen Robinson, Dallas Goedert, and Quez Watkins. I mean, now you're in good shape there. Now you got to do is go draft a workhorse running back like we talked about, and you look really good.
Draft your workhorse running back. Maybe pick up one more offensive lineman. Put some pieces together on defense and see what you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You need an edge player. That's what. So people are like, oh, we need to go get a defensive end. You don't have to label people with positions anymore. You know what I mean? You just need you need a guy that wreaks havoc defensively. Micah Parsons rushes the quarterback at elite level, and he's able to go tackle and wreak havoc, down the field at an elite level when it comes to making plays and pass coverage and things like that. That's the type of players you need, and that's kind of where you're at as far as these defensive players go now. They're all hybrid players, right? They're all just guys that they don't really just do one thing. TJ Watt's a guy like that. You just wreak havoc defensively. You're just a game wrecker. That you need a guy like that on your defense.
Definitely don't disagree with you there. Like I said, hopefully, we get D Taylor back. TJ Edwards kind of fills into the guy we want him to be, and you just get that other guy to get Alex Singleton off the field. I think you're pretty good on the back end. I don't think Nelson's back after the season. Maybe you go get another corner. I don't know. Like Havion Wallace back there, McLeod's still been fine back there. I don't see what else you're really looking for.
Yeah, a couple of those guys would be really good. Yeah, I'm with you there. Both of those guys, you're talking about game record, Nakobe Dean and guys like that, David Ajabo. They're both game records in that way. Yeah. Jonathan Davis is a game record, but he's about as fat as you, Steven. So that's his problem. Every 3 or 4 plays, he comes off the field because he needs a Big Mac and a Diet Coke. It's like the dude from from the longest yard who's like, "You assholes better not cut me. Somebody bring me a Diet Pepsi."
How dare you not show Mr. Joey Diaz some love? How dare
I played at
you,
Kansas
sir?
State. You kidding me?
How
For Coach
dare
Snyder?
you, sir?
I played at Kansas State. For Coach Snyder? No, Kansas State prison.
That's Joey fucking Diaz, brother. Show him some respect.
I will not.
Oh, you will, sir. You will.
I am so fucking annoyed. The Nets brought it back. They tied the game, and then they lost. Fucking assholes.
So how much money do you lose there? All right, we're getting into the last 15 minutes. I want to wrap a few things up. Now we're probably going to get off of here just a few minutes early today. But again,
Yo, Carson getting into it with a New England defensive player. He shoved his finger in their face. Woo! Get it, Carson.
the ginger's getting angry. Do not miss the ginger angry.
Don't make him angry. You don't like a ginger when he's angry.
Yeah, but
Angry gingers are woo. They're not fucking.
But listen, all right. Make sure you're liking us on all the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're doing the LeGarrette Blunt jersey giveaway. Are we doing it next week or what? How's that working? Apparently, there's a holiday next week, and I don't know about it.
Is that what there is next week? Oh, yeah. Of course, a holiday you don't know about.
Now, are we going to be back here this next week, or are we calling it off?
I don't know what else I'm doing. I'm not doing anything. Are you doing anything next Saturday?
I mean, I shouldn't be. I'm Jewish. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, next Friday's Christmas, not next Saturday.
I know.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not Jewish, but us non-Jews, we don't there's nothing that we do the day following Christmas. We just sit around being lazy, watching our spoiled, asshole children play with their gifts that they don't deserve because they were bad all year, but we bought them in anyway. That's.
Oh, do you want to know? Do you want to know if we were right or was Mr. LeVar right?
About what?
The fight.
Oh, who won? Not Dawkins?
H-Town took it. It wasn't Philly, guys. H-Town took it with a first-round knockout.
We always have to be people's little brothers. Jesus Christ.
And he gets another knockout, man.
Yeah, I know. Bunch of nonsense.
Poor Chris. It's rough, man. You go in there with heavy hitters like Derek Lewis, man, and it's no joke. Chris will get back on the horse and get back up there. He's still in the top 10. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I feel you.
Now we just got to make sure Kyle gets back in there and does his thing when he gets back in there. So, All right, but yeah, again, get to some of this giveaway stuff. So we're going to be doing that next week, apparently. So make sure you guys are tuning in. The last few members that we've done giveaways for haven't claimed them, so I might be doing a few giveaways next week. I don't know. I know they got something for our tailgating crew, whoever's going to be going to the Eagles Dallas tailgate that we're doing. I got a few things for anyone who shows up and things of that nature.
Okay.
It don't matter if the Eagles win or lose. At least we'll give you something to smile about it off the tailgate, right? But I don't know if we're gonna have any guests next week, but I know me and Zach will be back. We're gonna be doing the giveaway. Got some things going on. I want to make sure everyone's having fun for the holidays. I don't know what else we want to add to this one. What do you want to add anything else before we get ready to wrap it up, brother? Did we touch all the bases?
Not much.
Nothing on college sports. Anything else we forgot about to address during the week?
There ain't anything there.
All right, brother. Well, I'm going to put a bow on this one then. Really appreciate Christopher Franklin's time this afternoon. Hopefully next time we get him on, we can get a little bit better service so he's not as choppy for you guys. LeVar was awesome. Hopefully, we get a fight announcement soon. I was hoping to hear something, seeing that Mr. Feldman had liked our post earlier this morning. But according to him, somebody might be in the talk, so hopefully we'll see him early in 2022. We don't know. Appreciate LeVar's time. Appreciate everyone's time in the chat. Again, guys, appreciate all the love from everybody. Colin hopping in there, Tom. Mr. Wing was giving us some stuff back and forth there. Of course, some of our regulars. Other than that, this was another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm Steve. He's Zach. We'll be back next weekend. Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys afterwards. Don't have too much cake and food. Stay tuned for us.